My name is Andrew Van Gale, and today I have the distinct honor of introducing our guest speaker, a man with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. Carlton Henley has been at the forefront of Seminole County policymaking for nearly 10 years as a county commissioner, 4 of those years in which he served as chairman. By setting higher standards for our community, Carlton Henley's leadership has made Seminole County the best place in Florida to live, work, and play. If you read today's newspaper and saw that the Orlando metro area home prices gained 4% last quarter, while declining in most of the state and nation, it's just not the weather that made that happen. It's our leaders at the local level who raised the bar for our standard of living. It's people like Carlton Henley who dedicate themselves to public service, not only locally but regionally. Speaking of regional participation, Mr. Henley serves as the current chairman of Lynx and is the vice chairman of MetroPlan Orlando. He is also involved with dozens of other important civic and social organizations that help make our county the best county in the state of Florida. I know we're all looking forward to hearing some of the great news this year through the State of County address. So without further ado, please help me welcome our chairman, Carlton Henley.
I'm glad I told him to be brief. You know, elected officials could listen to that all day. Sometimes you think you're going to have to with some of those introductions. But I do appreciate the kind remarks, and I want to thank the Chamber for giving me this opportunity to speak to you today. But I want you to know that there will not be anything startling today. I'd like to introduce my wife, Peggy, of over 50 years. She came here today to see that I don't get out of line with my remarks. So it won't be. I told her after Vanderwide came by, and he said, "I don't want to hear any doom and gloom today. You know, everything's great." And I said, "You know, I'm tempted to do what I did back in '85 when the superintendent told me that he wanted me to speak to all the school administrators to explain why Lyman has continuously had the lowest suspension and expulsion rate in the county for 10 years. I said, "I don't want to do that." And he said, "Yeah, I want you to do it." So I went there, and I stood up after they introduced me, like he did, and I said, "Because we choose not to." And I went over and sat down. And I sat. People kept looking, looked around. And the superintendent said, "Is that it?" I said, "That's it. It's that simple." I said, "Now, if you want to know, what we do and why we don't, I'll be happy to explain that. But you told me to explain why we don't suspend that many or expel that many people." So I felt like that today. And I could do that because the state of county is very good. And I could set out on that matter, but then my colleagues would not be very happy with me. And before I began my remarks, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce the commissioners that I work with, and I'll say to you that we have been able to work very well together, and I appreciate the cooperation that we get there and the things that we're able to accomplish as a result of the fact that we're able to work together. That doesn't mean, however, that we don't disagree. There are times when we do not agree. So let me begin with District 1, who is Commissioner Bob Laurie. Bob served in Oviedo City Council before being elected to the commission, and then District 2 is the rookie there, Mike McLean. Mike served the city of Lake Mary. Served the city of Lake Mary very well as a commissioner and vice mayor while he was there. Then we come to District 3, Dick Vanderwide. Now, what can you say about Dick? Dick's been around about as long as dirt in here, and so, I served District 4. That's all I'll say, other than Dick waits till we get on television. You know, everything is produced live. We don't edit our meetings. What you see is what you get. But Dick just delights in pointing out the fact that he's the longest serving, but I am the oldest, only because I'm several years older than he is, and I'm constantly reminded of that. Of course, I know what he's trying to do is to build up respect for me among the others there. As I look over the crowd, I see that there are a number of you here who were here at 7 o'clock this morning for a very inspiring talk. I'm going to get to her in just a second. And she's wanting me to go ahead and introduce Brenda Carey, see. But Brenda doesn't like to be first. You know, she's the lady of the group. She's still in her first term, over halfway through it. Brenda always brings a unique perspective to the issues before the county commission. But I'll say that she does her homework and she represents her district well. That's Brenda Carey, District 5. I'm sure everyone here knows Brenda. She has served Central Florida area, especially Seminole County, for many, many years in many different volunteer capacities and served it well enough that the citizens said it's time for her to get up there with a vote. And so she's done well in representing them. I could go on and introduce the gentleman there sitting by my wife. All of you know him. Randy Morris. Randy, stand up. I think after 12 years on the commission, we all know Randy doesn't like attention in there, but he has served this county well, and I don't have enough time here today to go over that 5-page resolution that was handed to him on his last meeting. But many of you were here at 7 o'clock this morning to hear a very inspiring message from Sujo John, one of the survivors of 9/11 in New York. He was very, very inspirational. I'm not here today to be inspiring to you. I'm here today to inform you about the state of the county in Seminole County. And as I said a moment ago, I can tell you things are very good in Seminole County. As I began to think about the state of the county address, it dawned on me that, you know, I never hear that phrase except for this event. The phrase that we as commissioners constantly hear is that of quality of life. Everyone who comes before the county commission is going to talk about quality of life. And so are all elected officials. You know, they're all in favor of high quality of life. But I don't recall ever hearing anyone define it. So it's always in the eyes of the holder. So I'm going to take this opportunity today as I address the state of the county to try to talk to you in terms of those elements that make up the quality of life that we have here in Seminole County. And when I conclude, I think that you will have a good understanding of the state of the county, of Seminole County. When I think about, and you'll see on the screen, the elements out there that I think are important to the quality of life. One of those is good infrastructure. And when I think about good infrastructure, there are a number of things that come to mind. But you know, there are people out there that say that government is measured by whether the potholes get patched or whether the garbage gets picked up. But in Seminole County, we go far beyond that when we're talking about the quality of life and the things that need to be done. And to ensure that the infrastructure is in place is necessary for quality of life. People and freight and goods have to be moved from place to place. And roads, we've been in the road business, building business ever since 1990 when the citizens of this county passed the first generation sales tax. That expired in 2000 and they renewed it. And so we're going to be in road building business for a long time. And when that was presented to the people, they approved it was to continue to build better roads and to fund a better sidewalk program. In 2006, we constructed 17.2 miles of roads at a cost of $80 million. We have 10 projects slated for 2007 at a projected cost of $15.8 million, or $91 million actually on that one. If you'll notice, we're getting less miles but more dollars, and that's been the trend throughout the construction phase, with the cost of labor, cost of materials continuing to skyrocket. As it relates to the major sidewalk projects, and you'll be able to see the location on the map over there, I won't name all of them for you, but Seminole County completed 74,000 linear feet of sidewalks in 2006 at a cost of $4.7 million. That was 17 different projects completed. In 2007, 73,000 linear feet of sidewalks will be completed at a cost of $5.7 million. When I think of infrastructure, I also think about the stormwater systems. The stormwater was not included as a part of the 1-cent sales tax because people don't really think about it until the rains come and the water backs up in our yards and sometimes in our homes. But there were 6 major projects that completed in 2006 at a cost of $7.2 million. Those areas are depicted on there. In 2007, 8 more stormwater projects will be completed at a cost of $11.5 million. Another concern that we have when we think about the infrastructure and the impact that it has is those older neighborhoods that were built before 1945 that throughout Seminole County, before we had any of the present codes. We've done preliminary assessments on 84 of the older subdivisions. And in order to continue a program that we started in 2000. That's going into these neighborhoods that do not have sidewalks, that's drainage system is failing, their road system is failing, and trying to improve the quality of life in those particular neighborhoods. Because I think it's important for everybody to have their situation improve, and that's what the County Commission is attempting to do with a variety of programs. Utility services are necessary in this day and age to maintain a high quality of life. We operate 16 water treatment plants that provided 7.6 billion gallons of water last year. 7.6 billion. We operate 2 wastewater treatment plants, and we have a partnership going with the City of Orlando and the utilization of the Iron Bridge facility. We're presently doing 2 retrofit projects for reclaimed water at both the Greenwood Lakes division over there and also the Yankee Lake Regional Water Treatment Plants. We have 25 miles in Seminole County of reclaimed lines, and we're currently working on reclaimed lines in the northwest service area of Seminole County. If you've been down Markenwood Road, you've seen the work going there. One of the other elements that I think is important and impacts the quality of life is that of safety. And again, you have to define safety, because I think it's what people refer to as safety now has changed since I grew up. It used to be they were concerned about locking up the criminals. But today, when you talk about safety, our citizens want to be protected from more than just the criminals. They want to be protected from disease-carrying insects. They want to be protected from natural disasters and from terrorists. So I want to talk to you about what the County Commission has been doing to ensure the safety of our community. In 2001, Seminole County introduced a mosquito spraying program to combat the spread of mosquito-borne diseases. But this last year, based upon a recommendation from the Joint City-County Advisory Committee, the cities and the counties joined together for the first time to be able to establish a countywide scientific-based mosquito control program. You can see on the next slide coming up that the County Commission goes to great heights to ensure your safety. In this year's budget, we're replacing 2 helicopters, one in the Sheriff's Department, the other in the EMS Medevac there. The Sheriff's helicopter will cost $3.2 million. It'll be faster, more efficient, have the latest technology on board, which will help in law enforcement. It'll have carrying capacity of 5, which will help our SWAT team units when necessary. It also will have heavy lifting capabilities so that we can attach a Bambi basket to it in order to help fight the fires that happen so frequently in our area. We expect this helicopter to be in service in May. The other helicopter that we spoke of that we are attempting to replace is the old reliable Vietnam War era Huey. It's gotten so expensive to maintain it, to be able to get parts, that we've decommissioned that helicopter. And instead of going out and purchasing another one, we entered into an agreement for a private provider to provide us with a helicopter and provide us with the pilot, and we're providing the EMS. We expect to save a considerable amount of money on this arrangement that we have. Can't tell you how fortunate Seminole County was just a few weeks ago when the area was hit by tornadoes. Many of you may not know it, but 2 supercells passed right over Altamont Springs, right throughout Seminole County. Fortunately, it didn't touch down, but it did touch down in Lake, Sumter, and Volusia counties with devastating effect. But in view of the experience we had in '98 with the tornadoes that did hit Seminole County and what our neighbors out there, we have launched a task force committee to study the possibility of sirens as one of the measures there to help provide an alert to our citizens there. The cities, mayors of the cities and managers have met, and they have indicated that they want to go on a partnership in regard to this, but we're waiting from a report from the task force committee, which will be presented to the county commission on the 13th, and then we'll move forward based upon their recommendations in order to try to provide an adequate warning system for the citizens of Seminole County. We're also concerned about the unexpected occurring in our buildings, such as heart attacks. Recently, one of our longtime volunteers serving now on the planning and zoning had a heart attack while on the diocese during a meeting. He was not responding to mouth-to-mouth. But luckily, the county commission had commissioned earlier the placement of AEDs, which is the portable heart defibrillators, in all of our public buildings in here and in the high schools. And it was used. The heart was restarted, transported to the hospital, and underwent open heart surgery the next morning. So we never know what we're going to have to prepare for. One of the other areas that has become quite concerned, since Florida is known as the lightning capital of the world, we believe it's important the children and people who frequent our parks are protected from lightning if at all possible. So we've installed lightning detection in every park that we have in Seminole County. This equipment is equipped with a siren. It's sensitive enough to give you up to about a 12-minute warning in order to be able to clear the fields before the lightning happens. 4 of those systems are around $4,000 or $5,000 each. We talk a lot about safety and about roads, but one of the things that the county commission has done that was approved as part of the 1-cent sales tax when it was renewed were the overpasses. So we have overpasses in Lake Mary, 2 of them there, one by Lake Mary Elementary School near the City Hall, the other along Reinhardt Road. Those will be completed by this summer. We also have other overpasses and one underpass that's scheduled to be constructed in the next 2 years. Those are located at Loma Avenue and Red Bug Lake Road, another by Red Bug Elementary School, US 1792 near General Hutchinson in order to be able to connect the trails. Lake Mary Boulevard will receive one near the International Parkway. The underpass will be at Markham Woods Road and 434. As I indicated to you that we take personal safety and security of the people serious, we also take the protection of your property very serious. And one of the major parts of the county budget goes to fund the Sheriff's Department. In fact, it's $86.9 million that goes to the Sheriff's Department, which includes the jail, which he's responsible for. This past year, we had 12 additional deputies to patrol our neighborhoods. We've also added one new resource officer at the new middle school that was just recently built. And I think the work that the sheriff does with the people that he has, with the neighborhood policing and the many things that they do, is one of the reasons we have the lowest crime rate in Central Florida. Don does a tremendous job in serving the citizens of Seminole County. I think one of the other areas that contribute significantly to the quality of life in Seminole County is high-paying jobs. Our economic development program was initiated in 1993 with the purpose to strengthen and recession-proof the Seminole County economy through business diversification, with the idea in mind of attracting to Seminole County businesses with high-paying jobs. One of the elements that we were concerned about also was the fact that the residents of Seminole County was the major provider of taxes for the government service. So one of our goals was to expand the non-residential tax base. And I think the program that we instituted has been very successful in doing that. In 2006, there were 223 jobs as a result of the job incentive program. But it also produced a capital investment of $32,417,000. That incentive program since 1995 has created 11,638 jobs in Seminole County, all of them higher paying than $37,000 per individual. The total number of jobs that have been created in 2006 was 1,060, with a capital investment. This does not include the job incentive program of $84,212,000. The total jobs created since 2000 has been 9,397. So I think the Commission has done a pretty good job of being able to transfer the major responsibility for the cost of government away from the residents, and is now shared to a much larger extent by the businesses that have come into this community. And I think that's the way it should be. In order to see that the economy continues to grow and to move forward, we depend greatly upon the success of small business, and it's a very vital part of the economy in Seminole County. The Seminole County Technology Business Incubator System has been very successful in helping to grow new businesses in Seminole County. As you know, many of you know, it's located in the I-4 corridor. It's a joint venture of Seminole County, the Seminole County Port Authority, and Seminole Community College. In 2006, the Small Business Development Council serviced 254 clients, hosted 29 events in conjunction, some of them in conjunction with our library system, which reached another 600 individuals in this county. We're also proud of our relationships with UCF. We're proud of the partnership that we have with them and establishing the UCF Accelerator Program in Seminole County. That's located very near the Oviedo City Hall in that area. The Accelerator Program is structured in order to help those small businesses who wish to grow to another level. We want them to be able to grow and sustain. It envisions that Seminole County facility, which has been provided there, will allow these companies to grow and to expand, with UCF providing the expert knowledge to assist them in that potential. The board approved $300,000 a year for 3 years as our commitment to that program. It's a 13,000 square foot facility that'll house 10 to 12 clients at a time. And we're looking for great things out of that relationship. As you can see on the screen, Seminole County continues to attract big business as well as the small business that we've been referring to. You notice there are the 12 top major employers in Seminole County. We have a total workforce at this time of 242,854 people. You'll notice that the largest employer in this county is the Seminole County Public School System with 9,145 employed to them. According to the figures from the Metro Economic Development Council, Seminole County's unemployment rate is less than any in the area. Ours stands at 2.6%. Metro Orlando's is 2.9%. The state unemployment is 3.3%, and the national is 4.5%. And we contribute the success of that to you people there who are building and providing those jobs. In Seminole County, the average household income in 2006 was $71,471. That's up $7,000 since 2000. The median household income in 2006 was $56,072. That's also up $7,000. We are ranked well above the Florida nation when it comes to that category. I think that it's important to realize that you have a highly educated population in Seminole County. And that's one of the reasons that we're able to attract new businesses to this area. 47% of Seminole County's adult population have a degree. 10% have graduate degrees. 25.3% have bachelor's degree. 11.6% have associate degrees. We have only 6.3% of our adult population in this county that is less than a high school diploma. I don't think there are many areas that are going to be able to compete with something like that. But one of the other things that contributes to the success of Seminole County is an excellent school system. You don't have high-paying jobs and businesses that pay high jobs that comes to an area where you have a poor, failing school system. Seminole County school system is one of the best systems in the Southeast. 17 Seminole County schools were ranked as Florida's top high-performing schools. I think that's outstanding. For the second year in a row, Newsweek magazine ranked 8 of Seminole County's four-year high schools in the top 3% of the nation. 94% of Seminole County schools ranked A or B on the state ranking system. 80% of those received an A. Not very many areas match that. Of course, I could take credit for that, you know. Now, we have some hardworking citizens in Seminole County and in the school system, and I'll tell you right now, they're grossly underpaid and underappreciated. But I want you to know that the Board of County Commission has been committed to helping the school system maintain that record. We do not want to see a decline in the quality of our school system. In order to do that, as you well know, that we are sharing with the school board a portion of the 1-cent sales tax that was passed, and I'll give you just a little bit of information. The school system out of that has received thus far, and that's a 10-year program, we have 4 more years to go, $133,593,250 going to the school system. That was the arrangement that the people voted on, that the 2 high priorities was transportation and schools, and that's how we structured the vote that went out to the people to vote on. We gave them what they asked for. And we're trying to make sure that we live up to our commitment, because the credibility of the county commission and the school system is crucial to be able to sustain the economy of this county and be able to continue to compete for high-paying jobs. That, by the way, is what they have received, and that's over projection of what was projected it would bring in by nearly $40 million. And the arrangement we had with the school system was that we would upfront them a larger portion, although they were entitled to 25%, in order for them to try to get ahead of the game as far as building schools. But it's important. We share not only the 1-cent sales tax, the commission also approved the Schlossberg fee, which was permissive legislation that's brought additional dollars into the school system. We helped with the construction of the Safe Harbor project, which is highly successful over there. We've also helped them with the staffing of that. It's located in the Midway community, and that is the one area in our county that had a decline in crime. There are worthwhile activities going on. They're being exposed to computer training on it. There are afternoon programs, adults, and evening programs, and weekend programs that the adults from that community is able to take care of. And we're very proud of what's happened out there and hope to be able to duplicate it in another section of our county very soon. We've also voted to help support driver's education in 2 of our high schools. That's a program that should have never been cut out of the school system. The accident rate involving the young is astounding, quite frankly. And I know this is a plan that Metro Plan is participating in, along with the school system in some of our cities, to be able to bring that program back into the school system. We've also assisted with the funding of 2 swimming pools at 2 of our high schools. The money has been budgeted for the 3rd one, which is Lake Mary. If Mike ever gets the rest of the money from him, then we'll go ahead and build that one. But that, again, has to do with the safety program of the young people in this community. One of the other elements I think that is important for the quality of life in the community is the cultural and recreational opportunities that our citizens have and that our visitors may also enjoy. And there are a number of things that's been happening in that area. The budget of the board this year significantly increased the budget going to the performing arts programs in this county. We have enlarged significantly the historical museum. The plans are underway now to almost double the size of that area. And if you haven't been there, spend some time down there. You'll be impressed with what you see. There have been tremendous improvements made at the Central Florida Zoo, and participation is picking up there. This year's budget is also funding 3 boat ramps to give the citizens better access to some of our lakes. There are new parks in the offering. Jetta Point Park near Winter Springs will be a premier park. It's in the planning stage right now. It will feature 4 lighted softball fields, multi-purpose fields, and an outstanding playground area for the neighborhood there. And we appreciate the cooperation that we got from the city of Winter Springs and also the city of Oviedo in order to be able to get that land rezoned so that we could put that in there for public recreational purposes. There'll be complete redevelopment of the Soldiers Creek Park. 5 baseball fields will go into there, along with concessions, restrooms, and appropriate parking. With projection of an increase of 400,000 people added to Seminole County within the next 43 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not have enough land, enough parks to serve that area and that number of people. So it's imperative that we become more aggressive in trying to accumulate land in order to make sure that the youth and to the adults in this community are going to have access to parks and recreational activities in the future. The Natural Lands Program is another program which we are quite proud of. In 1990, $20 million bonds were approved by the citizens, followed by a $5 million allocation which came out of the 2000 Trails Program, and that's allowed us to leverage that and preserve and open to our public use over 7,000 acres of land throughout Seminole County. You can see some of those locations by name there on the map. In 2006, we purchased 112 acres, known to many as the St. Johns River Historical Property. To others, it's known as the Crockett Property. That cost $2.8 million for that 112 acres. The state of Florida will be reimbursing us for half of that. As I mentioned the Trails Program earlier. The county has an aggressive Trails Program, and it's one that is continuing to evolve. Our Trails Program in this county will not only connect the county and the cities, have connections to the schools, the natural lands, and to all of our county parks, and will connect also to the state and national trail system. 3 miles of trails at a cost of $1.4 million was completed in 2006. That was the Kewanee 1 first and second phase, the Seminole-Wekiva Trail with the unpaved trail down to the to the Wekiva River, the Flagler Trail at Bar Street Trailhead, connected to the Natural Lands Problem. The other is the Jones Trailhead on the Seminole-Wekiva Trail. At the present time, we have 31 paved miles of trails been completed. By the end of 2007, we expect to have completed a total of 40 miles of paved trails. The 9 miles which is to be constructed in 2007 is projected at a cost of $10 million. And I think you can see the various locations up there, at least I hope you can. We have not been able to attract the businesses that have located in this county, particularly along the I-4 corridor, without a business-friendly government. I think that's crucial to be able to attract business to an area. And it's up to local governments to be able to foster a business-friendly climate. We have to adopt the attitude that we are there to help, not to hinder. And that's the attitude that we have attempted to foster when we established the one-stop permitting process. When we established the fact that businesses can get fast-tracked projects through. We're continuing to work to be business-friendly with the SINET system that's underway that Commissioner Morris unveiled to you last year in great details. It will allow permitting online, the ability to check the progress of your projects without having to drive to the county building. I think that's important, and the business need to realize the attitude that has been fostered down at the county government. We are business's friend. You need not only a business-friendly government, but one with low taxes. Seminole County operates a very fiscally conservative budget. The countywide tax rate voted by the county commission is 4.9989. We have the latitude to go all the way up to 10 mills. If you were to, and that rate, by the way, has not been increased in over 9 years. The current aggregate millage in the unincorporated Seminole County is 7.9, which includes all the millages that's been approved by referendum. We've been able to keep taxes low because of the number of businesses that we have been able to attract to this area to help bear the burden, as I mentioned earlier. And also because of the tremendous amount of construction going on. with the homes, and of course with the help of David Johnson, who was recognized later, land values have significantly increased. That's why we have not had the necessity of raising your taxes and at the same time being able to improve the quality of life of this county. The county budget is $931,700,000, just under $1 billion. Public safety and public works utilizes 45% of the budget. So you can see where the emphasis is, providing service to the citizens. The debt service takes 2% of the budget. General government operation operates on only 12% of the budget. This attitude of fiscal conservatism has found great favor with our investors. Just this past year, Standard & Poor's rating service upgraded our bond rating from AA- to AA. That puts us in a very elite group of the 6th highest rated counties in the state of Florida. Last year, we were able to take advantage of the market conditions and refunded a portion of the county's sales tax revenue bonds, which lowered our outstanding principal by $1,780,000, with a long-term savings to the citizens of this county of $1,640,298. We talk about business development. 1792 has been a long-time commercial center of Seminole County, running the spine of the county, a 13-mile route that's been declared a CRA area because when I-4 came along, businesses left that area. That has been tagged for a redevelopment. And in order to promote the redevelopment of that area, the County Commission just recently changed their plans where we're building up and not out. There are areas along that corridor now that can build up to 10 stories. That had been prohibited in the past. But with what's facing us in the future, we've got to change the way we look at things. For planning purposes, the 1792 corridor for redevelopment has been divided into 4 separate subzones, one of them being Fern Park, Castleberry Winter Springs area, the other Lake Mary Sanford area, and then the historic portion of Sanford. We need to understand that the 1792 corridor is underutilized, consisting mostly of one-story buildings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot face the future with one-story buildings lining our heaviest travel corridors. That is the area where we need the density in order to save open space throughout the rest of this county. And the board is changing the unincorporated area to allow that to happen. I would encourage our municipalities that border that corridor to begin to look at your zoning along that area and join with the county in trying to utilize that in a much more effective way. We just recently, in order to try to revitalize that area, appropriated $225,000 to help bring Lowe's to the Fern Park area in the old Kmart building that's sat empty for over 12 years down there. That will make a significant difference in that area. The Sanford Orlando International Airport continues to be a jet engine for growth in this area. The 395 acres that they have in the airport commercial park has approximately 125 acres undeveloped at this time and available for light industry. The airport just recently made another acquisition out there on the east side there, which brings the total they have available up to 575 acres. Most people in Seminole County and in this region don't realize the impact that that airport has had on the economy. It's been calculated that 5,000 airport jobs have been created, 26,764 regional jobs, and $2 billion in the economy of this area. But it isn't anywhere near being complete yet. They have a hotel that will be going under construction, about $15 million. It'll be a three-star diamond hotel, will contain restaurants and meeting space. And we're certainly delighted to hear the announcement of the Westin Hotel that's coming in over here, which will provide about 13,000 square foot of meeting space for Seminole County. Seminole County needs meeting space bad. You'll recall a few years ago, there was much discussion about bringing a small convention center to Seminole County to house anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 people. It's a shame when Seminole County parents have to rent a building in another county in order to go see their sons and daughters graduate from high school. I think you're going to be hearing a little bit more about the resurrection of that idea before too long in here. I've talked to you about the quality of life and those things that we feel are important, and the quality is good. But there are threats facing us out there, and you need to be aware of that. Seminole County is the third most densely populated county in the state of Florida. We're only 300 square miles, and yet we're projected to absorb another 400,000 people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot take care of that growth by doing the same thing that we've always done. It's going to cause us to have to think differently in order to meet that challenge or to meet that threat, depending on how you want to look at it. Because one of the other threats out there that'll be exacerbated by this growth is the dwindling supply of potable water. St. John's Water District has already put us on notice that they will cap the consumer use permit in 2013, which will force us and other counties to have to go to an alternative source of water. This county this year issued $154 million in bonds for a major project that will allow us to be able to draw water from the St. John River to augment the Reclaimed Water program, because approximately 75 to 80% of the water drawn out of the aquifer, the potable water, goes to irrigate our lands. That has to be changed. One of the other areas that is a potential threat to the quality of life has to do with the aging population. As people grow older, their needs change. We have joined the state commission there on Communities for a Lifetime. The task force has been set up in order to be able to study the needs and try to meet the needs of the aging population. Another threat to us, and you saw it on the front page this morning, was the cost of housing. It is getting entirely too expensive for people to live and work in Seminole County. We've already had 2 years of declining enrollment in the school system because people can't afford to live here. We appointed a task force to begin to study that problem. We have amended the SHIP program in order to allow moderate income people to take part of the desire to own a home. We'll be providing down payment assistance to them in order to help that happen, because if you don't have a place for moderate income people, such as our teachers, our firefighters, and policemen to live, and the other people that we depend on in the service industry, ladies and gentlemen, the quality of life will go down. With the coming of 400,000 people over the next 43 years, with our projected growth of 20% in the next 10 years, something has to be done about mass transit in order to deal with this problem. It is something that is not going away. We have a failing system now, a failing road system that can't handle what we have. What is it going to be like when we increase by 20% in 10 years and double by 43 years? If you think it's bad, just wait, hang around. You're not going to go anywhere anyway. You can't get out. One of the answers to that is mass transit. Now, LYNX has been challenged quite a bit in the past. Matter of fact, LYNX has been greatly maligned over the last 7 years. And I think since the late 90s, early 90s in there, when a lot of that criticism was going on, you need to realize that Lynx is not the organization today that it was then. Complete new board, reorganized. There is not one individual in leadership position at Lynx today that was there in the 90s. We complain about 60 to 90-minute wait times. That's not Lynx's fault. They travel the same road you and I do. It's the fault of the funding agencies. That's your local governments. If you want 15-minute stop times, you want to stop at every corner, you can get it, but you're going to have to pay for it. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to have to happen because we cannot move our freight, we can't move our people with congestion getting worse and worse every day. Every new group that moves into here compounds that problem. The Orlando Sentinel said recently that freight carrying trucks alone will increase 78% in the next 15 years. So we're going to have to look to Lynx, and we're going to have to look at commuter rail. The commuter rail trains are supposed to move out of the station in 2009. That coincides with the construction going on I-4, which will start at that time. The plan calls for the federal government to pay 50%, the state 25%, and local 25%. Seminole County's part of that will be $46.2 million. And there's another reason why we need to look to mass transit and to commuter rail. You don't know it, but in 2005, Seminole County came dangerously close to violating the Federal Clean Air Act, which would mean they would have stopped all federal funds to Seminole County. Imagine what it's going to be like with 400,000 people. There's one other threat that I want to point to you right now. That's the legislation that has been filed with the legislature. There are 45 bills dealing with taxes. Nobody likes to pay taxes, but I'd like you to pay particular attention to those bills that are shown on your screen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that may put more money in your pocket, but your quality of life will deteriorate if the county government has to cut back on services as a result of lost revenue. The total impact to Seminole County and its municipalities, the taxing agency, Seminole County will be $92.4 million. $92.4 million. So the question you'll be faced with, which sheriff station do you want to close? Which fire station do you want to close? Do we close the libraries on Wednesday, or can we stay open to Friday? Right now, they're open 7 days a week. So I want you to think about that as we move on, because it is certainly definitely a threat to Seminole County. I'm going to stop right here, but I'm going to take one more minute because there's something I want you to see. Aaron, turn it on. Seminole County as it is today from the air, a look that most of us have not really seen or paid attention to. But just imagine 400,000 additional people on that beautiful land that you just saw there. It will change. How it changes will depend upon all of us. We're going to have to craft a vision. We're going to have to develop plans, and we're going to have the political will to make it happen in order to protect the quality of life of Seminole County. We need your help, we need your input, and we need the political will of all of our elected officials in order to maintain the quality of life that we've become accustomed to. Thank you. Thank you for listening.